Okay, in this video, we're going to keep building on our library, our album, our music library. But what we're going to do is we're going to work on a couple styling elements here. So let me just pull up our, what do we call it? S17 music library. So right now, we have a couple things. One is, if I hit delete, even if I accidentally hit delete, it's gone. There's no confirmation message. There's no way to protect, to make sure that the person did it. So we need a way to handle that. And the other thing is, when we're working in PHP Storm here, anytime that I want to refer to some of these Bootstrap classes, I'm kind of going from memory. So for example, if I scroll down here, let's say I wanted to add in another Bootstrap class. It doesn't, there's no prompt text that comes up. I'd have to have these memorized. What I want is for this to be able to show up locally. Now the way that we can make that happen is we can actually bring those Bootstrap classes and these JavaScript classes that are down here, we can bring those in-house. We can actually bring these, instead of currently what's happening is it actually goes all the way out. It follows this web request here, this URL. So if I hit copy, in order for us to load that JavaScript file or to load these CSS files, it goes all the way across to maxcdn.bootstrapcdn.com and downloads that file. But we can bring this locally. So I'm just going to go here on my computer. We're in XAMPP and S17 music library. So here are our PHP pages. So we can create a couple new directories. So let's create one called CSS. And let's create another one called JS. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this URL. Okay. I'm going to take this URL, copy. I'm going to go into a browser here, paste. And here's the actual CSS file. So I can just right click and say save as. You'll note that it gives me the actual default name. And I just have to go now to my my file, or my directory. So XAMPP, htdocs, and here's our music library. And this is a CSS file, so I'm going to put it under CSS and hit save. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with this CSS file. So there's two different ones. And hit save, or sorry, I'll load it, save as, and now we've got that one. Then let's scroll down to the bottom of our file here. And let's get this JavaScript here as well. So put up the JavaScript. Paste. Now this time, I don't want to put it in my CSS directory. I want to put this one in my JavaScript. So now we have we have all of those files are actually native to our system now. So let's go back in here. So now rather than have it go all the way out to the web, I can just shorten this down to just say CSS, so the directory CSS, bootstraps, and then I can get rid of this integrity checking. This is used to prevent like cross-site scripting and all kinds of things like that. So now it shortens right down. And we're going to do the same thing here. And we'll get rid of this extra integrity piece. We don't need that because we're not going out to the web. We're working locally. And if I go to the bottom of the file, this one's in the JS directory. Okay, so I hit save. So that's on our album details page. And we also used Bootstrap on our albums page, so I can go in here and clean that up as well. And from this point forward, any other files, we can just use these directly. We don't need to go out into the web to find the information. The other nice thing about bringing them locally is it's going to work better with our, there we go, hit save, with our actual files. So for example, we were talking about classes before. So now, if I wanted to see table related classes, as I start to type table, see now I can see it brings up all the classes that are defined for tables. So we already have table bordered, table responsive, right? So it makes our environment a little easier to use. And if we go back and test our files, they should look exactly the same. Right? Go to edit. Looks the same. Okay. So now the next thing is we needed this confirmation handling here for our our file. Now, in order to do that, we're going to use jQuery, and there are some predefined jQuery things out there on the web already. I'm going to go to code.jquery.com, and we can take the latest version. Oops. Here's the actual code. Oops. So just type that right here in the browser, and then I can right click, I can say save as, and then again I'm going to put this in the JavaScript file and say save. So now if we go into our library under JS, I'm going to have Bootstrap, and I'm going to have this jQuery 321. So to use that, we need to load that onto our page. So albums, I'm going to go down here and I'll just say latest jQuery, and I'll say script source equals, and if we go into the JS slash, oh, it's not going to help me any more than that, eh? There we go. Actually, I think I want the minify one. So let's go back to the browser for a second. Take them in. Okay, so now we have jQuery access, and we can actually write our own scripts as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go in our music library under the JS category. Okay, so now I can say new, and I'm going to say JavaScript file, and let's just call this one app. And yeah, we'd like to add that to GitHub. Okay, now if all goes well, that should have been created. There it is, in the JavaScript directory. So that worked out great. And here we can create some simple little delete, because jQuery has some built-in methods for that. So we're going to create our own class, or our own custom piece here called confirmation. And we're basically going to say on click, okay, so when you hit the button, right? What do we want to do? We want to return. And this is where it's using the jQuery classes. So you have to put the jQuery in first before this. Are you sure you want? Okay, why is this complaining? Let's see. Oh. One too many brackets there. There we go. Okay, so hit save. Now again, this is going to use the jQuery confirm method. So when we go to load this, whoops, in our albums page here, this jQuery has to run first. Otherwise, it won't be able to refer to the files that are in it. And here, we can again, we refer to our JS folder. Oh, sometimes it's nice and helps, gives us a little bit of hint here. Anyways, I called it apps.js. So we hit save. Now if we go up here, so now we have access to those classes, to these methods, to these existing Bootstrap JavaScript. So if I go up to here, let's see, where is, yes. So here's my delete album. So if I want to invoke that confirmation class, all I have to do is add in inside of the class here, right? So we called it, we said it's class button danger, that gives it the red color, and now we just have to add in confirmation. Hit save. So confirmation will pull up that little JavaScript. So let's run that now. So hit save. Go to my album page. Now if I hit delete, my only album's gone. I should have reloaded the page. Alright. So let's do this. Okay, so now we have a file. Now when I hit delete, it pumps up this message that says, are you sure you want to delete this item? If I hit cancel, okay, it returns a false state, which brings us right back to here. It basically cancels things. If I say okay, it's gone. So there you have it. We've brought in all of our Bootstrap code to be local to our app. We've also created our own first little bit of custom JavaScript that allows us to put some controls into our product. Hope you enjoyed.